Yes, and welcome to In the Tank Live with Aaron Hairston and Keith Deyo. We're all about talking in terms of what defines you today. What are you allowing to define you? That's an even better question. How has the pain in your life shaped you? How has the things that have washed over you, like a mountain or a valley to a river, how have those things shaped you? And have you been in complete control of what that looks like and what kind of shape that you end up as? So look at that finished product. Find out, well, is this a result of me and a conscious, decided, consistent effort? Or is this me allowing my environment to shape me in whatever form it wants to, depending on the strength of the storm or the strength of the current, whatever you want to look at it. And so there's often times when I sit back and I say, well, what am I doing to shape me? And so there's certain things that we do to shape our body, to shape us physically, right? And then there's certain things that we do to shape us mentally. And there's certain things we do to shape us spiritually. And which ones are we leaving up to chance? And which ones are we focused and concentrated on? That's such a huge thing when you think about how you're going to show up in the world. Are you going to show up as the thermometer or as a thermostat? We've asked that before. And so that's a decision that you make. And once you make it, you can then decide what it is, what shape that it is I'm going to show up in or as. And a lot of times, because of what we're doing to hold on to our past, and because of how hardened we are, how whatever shell we've created on the outside, whatever masks we're wearing, as the great things in life come towards us and we allow life to flow to and through us, we miss out on a lot of the great things that could sharpen us. Remember, like Aaron likes to quote, we're not sure who made the initial quote, but I think maybe it was Les Brown that we heard it from, even if he didn't make it up. And he talks about how life is a grinding stone, yes, and you have a decision every day. You can either be ground down and dulled, or you can be sharpened. So all that matters is the positioning of the sword, and you are the sword. But if you've got this hardened shell, when life shows up, and even the good things show up in life, if you've got this hardened exterior that you're not allowing life to flow to and through you, you're going to find out that everything, even the good stuff, bounces off of you because you're so sheltered. You're living in that fear. And because when we do that, yes, Aaron, bring you to the broadcast. Let's go. And the other that we want to talk about is whenever we do that, whenever we put up this exterior, this wall, this whatever we're
What up,
using.
guys?
Yes, was good.
What's up, man? Just getting off a call. I was actually speaking to our amazing team member,
I
Gloria
like it.
over in the
Oh yeah,
UK.
we're in the UK. Okay, yeah, she's
Yeah.
a rock
She's
star.
awesome.
What's up,
She
Chloe?
is a rock.
So, Aaron, we're talking about what shapes us, what defines us. Are we shaped either by the things that we leave up to chance, or are we consistently putting a concerted effort towards the shape that we want? And are we allowing things to flow to and through us in order to create that shape? So we could either be shaped by whatever comes our way, and whatever doesn't bounce off of us will go through us and cut a little bit, carve us up. And it happens on three levels, or we can attract whatever it is we want more of, what we want to see more of, and allow that to unfold within us and then reveal whatever that is to the world. Like, remember, we talked about this. I can't remember who brought it up, what speaker I heard it from, but they talked about how that Michelangelo wasn't carved, that was revealed. That existed inside that rock, and it was literally
Yeah.
revealed. And that's what's going on inside us. But if we're so hardened with this exterior, especially in our hearts, there's no way that all those good things could flow to and through us. And then what happens is that intent, that hardened intent, allows us to grow further and further apart. And so wait till you hear what I heard this morning from a monk. He said that the reason why they were on a hike inside the redwood
Yep.
forest, and the ground there is very it's porous, but a lot of it's really soft, and so they talk about treading lightly. And the reason why that's so soft is that there's a lot of growth underneath it because of how big those trees are, and they're literally ancient trees. And he asked a question to the guide. He said, well, if these trees have been here for so long, why haven't the storms knocked them down? Why haven't the fires burned them down? Why haven't all of the things that we witness as on the external side as humans and the destruction that we see, why hasn't it affected this redwood forest that has been here for ages, hundreds and hundreds of years? And he explained the fact that, and he related it to how we live our life. He said, look, the redwoods are smart. Nature has been given everything it needs to survive inside a tiny seed. And so for us, we can learn a lot from nature. We talk about that a lot. That's why we feel so grounded. So many of us that are in alignment feel so grounded out in nature. Pick a portion of nature and find it, because whatever that is that's grounding you, it's been there for longer than you. So there's lessons to be learned. There's energy to be gained. And he said that the redwoods, when they grow, they don't only grow down, they don't only grow deep into the ground, but they also go across. And what happens is there's hundreds and thousands of trees. Well, they interroot, they interconnect, they lock roots. And so when one tree locks on, it doubles its strength. It compounds the strength of another. And even the youngest of redwoods, when they're planted, when they germinate, when they finally break through the ground, their roots are shallow, but they're connected to the larger redwoods immediately. And
Wow.
and the reason why they can do that is because they've got one purpose: thrive and survive, no matter what. They're not showing up by chance. And so when he said that, as humans, the more we can do that, the more we can understand what our actual roots are. Now, we aren't connected to the ground, we aren't rooted deep into the soil, but we've been given the same ability within our hearts. And when we can grow together from a place of love, absent of all fear, that's similar to the redwood tree. And we can survive any storm. And then it was like one of those moments where I was like,
Yeah.
I'm sending people.
Well, yeah. So to go back a couple points, right, and we'll finish with that redwood story. The one thing that came to mind as we're thinking about what defines us, right? You know, I talked a little bit about that with the kids yesterday, and then I also talked with my clients in the morning yesterday in regards to positioning yourself, right, and being able to take full advantage of what's going on in life, right? And if you look at everything, positioning it to make sure that it sharpens you versus dull you is your only goal, really. I mean, if you think about it, anything you do in life is like, okay, this needs to better me, not destroy me. Like that's the survival mechanism, right? So as we go through that process, my father always said, adjust, readjust, and adjust again. And the first thing that comes to mind with that is an amoeba, right? You got to be an amoeba, right? You got to be an amoeba. You have to be able to adjust and flow like water, right? If you notice water will never be stopped. If there's a decline in pitch, it will find its way to weave and bob and weave through the situation to get to where it's going, right? And where it's flowing. And so as a human being, we forget the fact that we're made of majority water, right? And so if we create a dam in our body, which is what you're talking about, and we harden ourselves, then we're not going to be able to flow fluently. You ever try to get a piece of ice into a small hole? It doesn't work, right? You got to melt it. You got to get it back to its original form of water, right? So think about that in your life. If you have something that's hardening you at the moment, allow it to break down your vulnerability. Allow it to allow you to get back to that water flowing form, that fluid form in alignment, so that things can flow through you and not stop with you, right? A lot of times when we get on challenges and we get obstacles and things like that, that hardened us. That makes us want to feel hard and brolic, right? And that's, and that's what our biggest fear is right? To be softened, right? We want to be hard and we want to be, solid and armored. But really, the armor is already on us. It's already there, right? We've been born with it, right? And that's that faith part that we always talk about. That, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. We know that, right? If we believe that. So as you let your life go into an amoeba state and you just flow through and you don't think too much about things, don't think too deep into things, in regards to the situation at hand. Just think, okay, well, what's the best that can happen, as we talked about before, and watch how your mind expands. Watch how the amoeba, of your life starts to find the crevices and the cracks and the things that it can grow into, right? And all of a sudden you start to see, oh, wow, I didn't know there was a solution here. I didn't know there was some growth here. I didn't know there was some lessons here. And the greatest lessons learned are the ones that, come through challenge. And so as we go into the redwood story, just imagine everybody that's flowing like water, right? Just like those roots, as they're starting to spread out and they're starting to interlock and starting to create that bond with others. That's how life will start to create that body of water, right? If you take every raindrop and you say, okay, I'm going to collect raindrops, how often does it create this huge pool? Every single time, right? Depending on how many drops are willing to go in the bucket, right? So as we look at the bodies of water throughout the earth, it's accumulated all the water drops throughout the earth to create this body of water. So as we start to think about those redwoods, it's the same thing, right? Look at the ocean. As every drop fills, it creates more water, right? More bondage, more life, more opportunity, more expanding, more growth, more experiences to share. And I had a great conversation with a fellow network marketer earlier today. He's in a different company, but it doesn't matter, right? The profession of network marketing is on the rise, and education is where it needs to be. And in order for us to grow that bond, right, of being able to educate people properly, we have to be vulnerable enough to say, hey, listen, let's ask the right questions. Let's unfold the curtain and say, okay, let's be real about this profession. Where can we help each other grow? And we're able to do so. And so just think about that. Fluid is water. Connect and bond just like those redwoods and those trees to make sure that you can withstand the storms that are going to come, because those are guaranteed, right? Nobody could have predicted whether or not that storm was going to hit Florida or not. We just knew it was going to show up because the seasons are there, right, for the possibility for it to happen. But people were preparing, right? People were getting ready. And I'm sure there was a few people that wish they would have got ready a little sooner. Maybe some of those islands I got here earlier. But the long and skinny of the story is that we can form into whatever it is that we've been designed to form into if we're willing to be revealed, right? Like we talk about. It's not about becoming as much as it is revealing, because we've already been made. And I think that for me is where the interlocking of this knowledge that we're collecting now and how valuable it is to share that with the world. And I'm so excited, man, because again, things that used to stop me before don't stop me any longer. Things that used to hold me up before don't hold me back any longer. The thoughts that didn't serve me before don't show up as much as often as they did before, because they know they can't live here. There's no food for them to eat here. Therefore, the thoughts move on, right? So those are those thoughts that came to my head, Keith, as you were talking about that story with the monks, and really about connecting and positioning yourself in life.
Yeah, and we got to remember that, just like who said that the same wind blows on us all. It's the set of the sail that determines our the speed with which we move and where we land, and that's huge, yeah. Right? That same wind blows on us all. And so I also found today, or another thing that also found me today, was in that resistance and whatever external resistance we're putting up, and the effort that we put up when that happens, that those external stresses, when we're living in fear or we're anticipating something being fearful or more than it actually is, allowing our perception to determine our reality. When we do that, we rob from within. When we do that and we focus there, and those chemicals are released, and that's where we go, there you go, the pain cream, right? When we go there, what happens is everything else shuts down. Our body is designed that if there's an external threat, that nothing inside of us can operate. There can't be any operation going on, including cellular development, which then creates our immune system, which is where it first focuses. And so if we are only going to walk through life with this hardened shell and have this armor up and not allow anything to get in, because we're so afraid of some perceived thing, some perceived threat, we're robbing from ourselves. There's less investment in ourselves, and we're investing more in a perceived fear of something, some false expectation. Literally, when you're in that mode and your body is high in cortisol, it shuts down everything. So if you're somebody that has come up with some random allergy or a later in life phobia or anxiety or something that has showed up lately, and the doctor's feeding you medicine for it, it probably started with stress, and you decrease your stress, improve the fuel and environment you're in, and you can cure that. You can literally reverse that. And that was something that also found me today. So letting down those guards, taking off that armor and allowing the good stuff to get in and knowing what's bad and choosing what you're going to absorb. That's up to you as well.
Right. The choice is ours, man. What they say, the choice is yours. You can get with this or you can get with that. And so for all those who have chimed in today, we thank you. You are the heartbeat of this broadcast. The engagement. Thank you, Michelle. Fill the mind with perseverance and positivity and make no room for negativity or worry. That is the statement, man. I tell you right now, guys, if you're not growing, right, then you're not knowing. So get back on this podcast, listen to the replay, and share that with people, because I'm telling you right now, where this world is going is a collaboration of thoughts and masterminds, those who are willing to unfold the curtain and say, listen, this is what's going on, right? It's no longer a front. It's really a discovering of the mind and an uncovering of who you've been designed to be. So don't front for me. If you're going to play that role, play it. Wu-Tang said it a very, very long time ago. And I want to just thank you all for chiming in here and continue to share this message on Work Wednesday as we break through barriers and understand that at the end of that tunnel, there is a light that's bright that now not only that you get to see, but you get to share with others. And we'll see you tomorrow on Transformation Thursday and live in the tank. We'll keep Deyo on air in Hairston. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.